And they are, I'm not going to give all that they told me, but they are fortified, and they have weapons, and they will not be overtaken. Their biggest concern was not the looting, it was that they were an easy target for arson, because not all these places have, are stores or anything that would have anything desired in it that you would steal, but they were concerned about arson, and so they got the band together, so to speak, of friends and family and whoever else wanted to defend, and they are sitting on roofs, they're sitting in cars in front of buildings, they are just sitting in lawn chairs and whatnot. We've seen this time and time again tonight in front of their various businesses, and you can see how quiet and how eerie it is out here on the streets of South Minneapolis. In general, what we found is either there's a huge crowd and a protest or something like that, or there's nothing going on, because you're either in the middle of it, in the apex of it, or you're left alone. Both of them are a little bit unsettling. When there's no one around, you feel the eeriness of it. When everyone's around, you're not sure who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, and that's all you're seeing here. It's either a mass crowd and a mass movement, or it's no one, as you can see right here, and it is quiet and dark and just strange.
It is eerie. You're absolutely right.
Maxie, oh, did you want to ask? I just want to ask Maxie, because so many people had seen you, a couple of hours ago when somebody was trying to cover the camera. I guess just kind of what was going on there?
Well, what happened was we were stuck in a place where we really couldn't get out for a while, because between us and our car was a line of police, and then there was the man that had assaulted our photographer, Chris Cruz, with a crowbar or cane, and so we couldn't walk that way. So we sat with the folks from the neighborhood, and they're very engaging, and these are endearing people they're worried about their community, and so a couple of them agreed to do an interview with us, and a person that was off camera, who I think had been drinking, decided that they were going to get in the middle of the live shot as soon as we started. And the surprising part about was that he had been pretty affable to that point, and talked to me about what a great basketball player he was and whatnot, so I didn't find him to be a threat. And all of a sudden, when we turned the camera on to do the interview, he decided to jump in, and then a lot of the stuff that he was saying was fairly incoherent, but we just shut it down, talked him down, calmed him down, explained what we were about, and that we weren't a threat to him or anything else, and then we moved on our way from there. But so I know it probably looked worse than what it was,
well,
but we were able to pretty much control the situation.
A lot of people were concerned. They were tweeting. They wanted to know what was going on and if you were okay. And Don Shelby, our colleague, emailed me, and he wanted me to get on it. He needed the information. He was very concerned, Maxie. So I'm glad that everything was okay.
You must owe him money.
Yeah. We need a little of that tonight, Frank. Thank you. But look over here to the right. I mean, can we pick that up?
Yeah, we see
Those are people sitting in front of their family business, their taco stand, and they're going to sit there all night. What are we on, Art? Lake Street. We're on Lake Street right now. Here's the auto parts store. Obviously, they've been the target of many. We're now that far. Go to the left here. Take a look at that. Those are not the bad guys. Those are not people that are protesting. Those are not rioters. Those are people that are taking care of their own and taking care of their business. And obviously, we look suspicious to them when we slow down, but all they want to do is make sure that they preserve what's theirs. And of course, so many people have worked their entire lives to own a business like this, to be in business, and they've become somewhat strategic about it tonight. They figured out that they might be the last line of defense, and they're not going to let it go. And I think just their showing up and in mass and how many people stand in front of the buildings has been not only impressive and inspiring, but it's sent a very strong message to anybody that may think they can raise some cane or do something with them. So you're seeing it time and right here. You see it some more. This is organized today. This was just grassroots. They're just sitting there in front of the Time Bomb Vintage, and they're going to protect it, and they're going to protect it all night until they feel safe. And it's been a story that has just kind of evolved organically, and you kind of got to be plugged in underneath it to find out about this. But we're seeing it time and time again, and they're not out to. They're trying to stay peaceful. We're on Lake Street right now, going straight ahead. You can see this. They've got the reflective gear. This is the Longfellow Market. It's boarded up, but you can see the windows are open. And all they want to do is make sure that they keep peace and and preserve what business it is that they have. And so it's been a story of the night as far as I'm concerned, and it's been heroic on the part of the way that these people have come together to help each other, because a lot of them are not necessarily owners of the business. They're just saying, we all in this neighborhood, we all live in this together, we got to preserve it. Here's some more. You can see how well lit it is. This is Star Automotive. These are the people that are making sure that the bad stuff doesn't happen. You see a guy there, he's standing with a 12-gauge shotgun. And the whole point, and there's another guy we just drove by that's got a rifle. They're serious about this, folks. And if you think you're going to come out here and do anything to them, that's the first time I've seen a shotgun and a rifle. But they're not here looking for somebody. They're here to defend their property and everything that they own. Yep, and you can just see. This is, to me, the story of the night is how well they have showed up and how unified they are in making sure. And this is going on, by the way, they're on the south side of Lake Street. This is going on the north side in just as big a way, I know, as well.
Well, here's the kind of the heavy part of it, Maxie, is a couple things. If you're watching WCCO the last two nights, you see us interview the chief and the assistant chief, and on both nights, they're like, we don't know if we can get to your fire. I don't know how long it'll take to get to your fire. It's not safe to get to your fire. So, when you think about it, this is, what's the next step if you want to preserve your business, right? You got to take it on yourself, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, and if you told me you can't help me, I get it. But guess what? That doesn't mean I'm not going to help myself.
Well, that gets me to the other point. The really heavy thing about this is on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, we see a guy on Lake, really close to the 3rd Precinct, who is arrested for shooting and killing someone because this person breaks into a store. So, that's the only murder that we've had, death that we've had following in the last 5 days. And it was a owner of a business who shot and killed a guy that he says was, coming into the business. And these people, my point is, these people out here tonight know the risk. I mean, we just saw the guy with the shotgun and the rifle, and they're like, you know what, I guess I'm at the point in my life where I'm going to take the risk.
That's exactly where they're at, and I talked to one of them specifically today, and I said, are you sure you want to do this? And he said, this is everything. This is my livelihood. My home is 2 blocks from here. I'm defending everything. I'm defending my neighbors. And he said, this is what I've built. This is my whole life. I can't afford to allow it. Yeah, do a U-turn here, Art. I can't allow it to go up in flames. And so and their plan was this, and this is what they orchestrated tonight. We're going to stay outside our business. We're going to make a lot of noise and until 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, the curfew kicks in. Then we're going to scale back. We're going to put people inside. We're going to put people on the roof. We're going to put people in cars. We're going to park cars right in front of our building, in front of the entrance. So you'd have to come over it. People are going to be positioned in those cars, and that's what they're doing. So you've seen some of the people outside, but many of these other buildings that you can't tell right now have people up on the roof and in different vantage points because of the curfew. They're holding back and they're defending it, and you don't see that, but it's out there because of all the people that I've talked to tonight. That's become kind of a common thread amongst the small business owners.
If you want to, and I'm not asking you to do it live on television because I'm really not interested in seeing you or Art get shot, but if you get a chance and you're able to pull over and talk to one of these folks, I think that would make for an interesting conversation to talk about. Well, I'm sure they're relieved, but just kind of the motivation and what kind of you got to the point in your life where you've got to protect your own life, limb, and property.
Yeah, and that's a little bit, we were setting up for the Little Earth interview the last time, and then we heard the gunshots and everybody scattered, and it was a few blocks away, but it was enough that when I saw them move, we moved, and it's surreal out here, guys, but it's surreal, and yet there's a certain takeaway spirit that you get out of this, and it's a little bit invigorating to see these people say, we get it, you can't get to us, we can't call you on 911 tonight, we get that, but we are proud Minnesotans too, and we're going to make sure that we preserve what it is that we're about, and you see it time and time again, right here in front of Are you guys protecting the laundromat? Just watching? Everything good? Okay. And you see it time and time again here, and even though these places are boarded up, their fear is more arson than it is anything else right now. So,
Sure.
There's not a lot to loot at some of these places.
Michael, thanks for all your reporting, and Arthur
You've been
as well.
great.
It's
Yes.
yeah, not that we're saying to quit. We're just saying thank you for this segment right now. We'll check back with you a little bit. Is that, are there police officers in that thing? Because there is no Metro Transit running right now. Are there arrested people?
Yeah,
or cops?
they're very well. I don't know if they're. You're talking about the van that just
That's
went
right
by
in
as a
front of you,
Metro
the white-
Mobility van. Which they're using, for a number. There's the guy with the shotgun again. They're using that for a number, but we couldn't tell that there was anybody in it. It may be empty. We have not seen, though, since we left the station, and we've put on how many miles now, guys? I don't know, 10. We have not seen one police car. Except for as we were leaving downtown on Nicollet and 12th there, we haven't seen any police presence or anybody else that is out here. So you kind of, as you watch this and you do the summation on it, you kind of get why these people are out, because you just don't see police officers or anybody else here. I think they're just tending to the quote-unquote hot spots that are out there.
Yeah, but we're not seeing as many of those either. I mean, it's actually the kind of night where if you called the police, maybe they'd get there, or maybe the best idea is to call the National Guard. I joke. I shouldn't joke about that, but I think that you would think the response would be different tonight, and we know this response will be different from the fire department as well. So, which is encouraging.
And maybe that's kudos to the fact that the curfew did work, in fact, and they took a lot of people off the streets, and their tactics worked really, really well to get people out.
Yeah, indeed. Believe me, as weird as what you're showing us looks like, I think it makes people a lot happier than the anxiety of the images we were broadcasting last night, too. So Mike Max, Art Phillips, thank you guys both very much.
It's really interesting to
You
see.
bet.